太快，它不了。
没有，因为你shuttle太快，你 capture 到那个 loudspeaker 嘛。
The Asian market is a very interesting market to study at the moment in terms of cabin comfort. What we see is a burgeoning middle class. People are starting to travel a lot. They're travelling a long way. And also they have a very high percentage of people travelling in economy for business reasons. So for airlines operating in the Asian market, it's important that they consider the basic needs of their passengers, because as I've said, the passengers expect to use that flight for relaxation so that when they arrive they can start their working day straight away. In Airbus, we don't believe that there should be a compromise between comfort and efficiency.
More and more business people in Asia are using long-haul economy flight for their business trips. If they have poor quality sleep during these business trips, they will have negative impact on their own businesses through lack of concentration, feeling sleepy, being irritable, and having deficits in their memory. It is imperative that they get a good quality sleep on these long-haul flights. If someone is being sleep deprived or sleep fragmented 2 to 3 times a week, this could lead to chronic or long-term problems. They would become victims of long-term sleep deprivation or long-term sleep disruption. The consequences of long-term sleep deprivation are even more profound than short-term sleep deprivation. They will develop fatigue in the daytime, sleepiness in the daytime, but more importantly, they are then more susceptible to stress, to symptoms of anxiety, and to depression.
I think the reason we need to focus more on the Asian market is quite a simple one. It's got the fastest growing middle class group globally. I mean, if you think, for example, there are 263 million people alone who are middle class in India. In China, you have 221 cities with populations of over 1 million. So it's a vast reservoir of people who will be traveling over the next decade. What the report has done is to encapsulate the thinking of 8,000 consumers, affluent consumers, starting out on the kind of lifelong travel journey, and it really has just captured what their needs, their requirements, and potentially their future thoughts will be about airline travel over the next decade. 60% of the passengers believe that a wider seat was one of the things that contributed to overall sense of comfort. Over 42% of them said they would pay more if the seat was bigger. And I think it was something like 53% were actually saying that in terms of improved productivity, the width of the seat and the additional legroom made all of the difference. So really what you were seeing were very clear figures pointing to one clear thing. The bigger the room in the seat, the greater the width, the greater the sense of comfort among those passengers. You know, one of the key findings of the report is that 70% of people travelling in standard class were doing so for business. I mean, that was quite phenomenal. And if you think about the fact that when they were booking, you know, they were booking for things like comfort, they were looking at wider seats, but also the sense of comfort was radically different. They were thinking about relaxation, they were thinking about sleep, then they were thinking about productivity. So almost the reverse of what we do in the West. For them, productivity wasn't about working in the air, which it would be for us. It was actually about preparing yourself to work when you hit the ground. So suddenly that made sense to us as to why they were looking for this wider seat and seeing that in relation to improve productivity, but also increased sense of well-being and health and their general sense of happiness level on these flights. I think how airlines need to use the report is very simple. Number one, understand that comfort for Asian consumers is radically different to how we define comfort in the West. For them, it's about wider seats. The second thing is you're dealing with a highly informed and very knowledgeable consumer base. They're using the internet to research their sense of what comfort is about before they get on the plane. So they are much more critical about the consequences of not getting what they want. I think the third thing is moving ahead in themselves, they will become the most powerful group of travellers ever. And I think when you put that together, powerful group, increased use of social media, focus on comfort to do with wider seats and not all of the things we concern ourselves about in the West, you're dealing with a potentially new opportunity, or if you get it wrong, a potentially new problem.
I think as I get older, I start to realize that the seat that you're in, especially for a long haul, makes a very big difference because you're in that seat for so many hours. That's actually the most important part of the flight journey, actually. So yeah, comfort is very important.
In terms of comfort and sleeping, if I'm in business class, I definitely want a flat bed so I can get good rest by the time I reach my destination. If I'm in economy, the more the recline on the seat, the better it is.
Generally, I look at forums, I look at reviews from various websites. Yeah.
I would definitely pay a little bit more just so that I can get a comfortable flight.